Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with a new video. I'm doing a little bit of a different video today because there's a topic I want to discuss and I figured that this would be the best way to go about it. Make something a bit more personal. So, you may be wondering why I am recording the back of this chair. And it's because this chair is my gaming chair. Not as nice as the gaming chair I had a few years ago. And it's a simple chair, but it is my chair. And the reason I highlight this is a very simple thing. On Twitter, such a wonderful place, there's been this debate going on about a group called Black Girl Gamers who, from what I can tell, have decided to segregate, as in they will not allow in anybody who is not black. In particular, especially if you're white, you're not allowed, but they won't allow in anybody who's not black, anybody who's not female or femme. So I would imagine that includes black men and black trans men. And of course there's been this debate going on, and many in favor of them who tend to be Twitch streamers and the like, and individuals who have positions like high-level marketing jobs in the industry, they have been in favor of Black Girl Gamers, arguing that because of issues regarding historic systemic racism from decades ago, like bringing up the fact that, places like water fountains and pools and whatnot used to be segregated, that it is okay for this group to segregate themselves now in the gaming space, in the predominantly Asian, predominantly Japanese gaming space. But there's been another issue at hand, because I, of course, have been attacked by numerous individuals when I point out the folly in segregation, especially in something that is not even culturally black. Video games are not a culturally black thing, especially modern video games. Most of them, again, come out of Japan. That's an East Asian nation. So I have been told, more or less, to kick rocks, and I've been called a coon and every other vile name you can imagine, because that's what always happens to me whenever I speak my mind. But I have also been told that the reason why Black Girl Gamers is in the right to segregate themselves is because white people, this is the general argument, white people have been taking seats in gaming, taking seats from black women in gaming, right, particularly in the gamer space, because they never talk about the industry itself, where there are legitimate issues, but they talk about the gamer space. So here I am, a black girl gamer, as we can see here. This is my actual hand, my actual left hand in particular, and there is my literal seat in the gaming space, and I'm going to take that seat right now. And this is my PS4, and here are just some of the games that I have on it. Street Fighter V, Japanese game. Let's see what else is here. We have Street Fighter V, we have NBA 2K23, a predominantly black game that features real-world athletes who are predominantly African-American, even features the WNBA, so it also features female players who are predominantly black. Okay, so we have Valhalla. That's a, not American, but I think Western creation, you can argue that. I tried to play Valhalla, but I haven't actually had a chance to play it yet because they want you to make a Ubisoft account, and I refuse to do that. Then we have the Mafia trilogy. This is Mafia 2, right? This is a game made not by Americans, believe it or not. Might be dealing with, the American Mafia or a depiction of it, but it's not an American game. But it is a Western game, you could argue. Mafia Definitive Edition. Oh, look. Okay, so we have MLB The Show, again featuring real-world athletes. So here's a very diverse group of people. Blacks, Latinos especially, and I know it's hard to tell, but the cover athlete for that one is Shohei Ohtani, a Japanese baseball player. Then we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Okay, so that's about ancient Greece. We have Ghost of Tsushima, a game made by Sucker Punch about a story that takes place in Japan. Then we have Tekken 7, so that's Namco, that's a Japanese game. The Metal Gear Solid Collection, so that's Konami, that's a Japanese game, as we see here. And then we have my library, where there's many other games, such as Origins, that takes place in Egypt. Syndicate, a lot of Assassin's Creed stuff. I was trying to sort of get into the series, but look at this. So, Atari Flashback. We have, let me see down here, is Batman Arkham Origins. Garu, Mark of the Wolves, so that's KOF. And a bunch of others, right? A bunch of others. So this was a small sampling of my games that I currently have on PS4. That's just digitally. If we look over here, we'll see some of the games that I have physically. The Genesis Collection, the Streets of Rage 4 Anniversary Collection, the Street Fighter Collection, Mass Effect Andromeda, Horizon, Red Dead, Turtles underneath, and I believe the one under there that's an SNK game. I also know that somewhere I have Mass Effect 4, because that was a gift from my brother. And then of course we have this. We have the PlayStation 4 that my brother gifted me. Then we have the Sega Genesis that Caster the Gravedigger gifted me, and we can see here, you know, the Sega Genesis 3-button controller, and underneath it is the 6-button controller, and there is Sonic the Hedgehog, which is a Japanese game, and Sega themselves were a Japanese company, right? And then we have over here, we have Streets of Rage, the original Streets of Rage, which, although you can't tell here, has a black character, as does Streets of Rage 4. In fact, Streets of Rage 4 has two, if I remember correctly. They have Adam, who's in this game, and then they have Cherry, I think her name is. And then we have this, Eternal Champions. And look at that, look, I cannot believe it. It's a black dude. Actually, his name is Jonathan Blade. And you want to know why I bring this up? I bring this up because of this lie that keeps being perpetuated. This lie that black people have never been allowed or accepted in the gaming space. That is simply not true. I have been in the gaming space, playing video games of all types, since I was 4 years old, way back in 1989. I am literally 39 years old, and I've been doing this most of my life. It was my black mother and my aunt who I would say introduced me to gaming. I didn't really fall in love with gaming until I got a Sega Genesis and got, although you can't see it here exactly, Street Fighter 2. That's what caused me to fall in love with the medium. But the NES was my first fighting, well, not my first fighting game, my first video game. And again, that was Nintendo, right? Japanese company. Didn't mind selling in America. And American retailers didn't mind selling to, you know, a black woman in the projects. I'm not saying that my experience is like the definitive one. My experience is mine alone. But my experience is valid. And my experience, I think, is something that many people can resonate with. I'm not in any way trying to say that the gaming space is perfect. Certainly, a lot can be done. A lot can improve, right? Maybe gamers can be a little less crass at times. Who knows? But this idea that black people were never allowed in the space or had to fight for the right and fight for a seat, in my opinion, is just not true. Or, because there might be some rare examples, I would say it's terribly uncommon. I don't think it's a regular thing, at least from where I sit. Right? I cannot speak for the entire world or for the entire gamer space, but in my experience, yeah, I was not hated. I wasn't pushed out. If anything, I was pushed in. I was elected as the alternative representative of a gaming group when I was in college, and that was completely against my will. I didn't want to do it, But I was chosen and I was selected because I was the most knowledgeable gamer there, and it was guys who chose me, and literally were just like, look, she's the best one we have. She should do it. And those guys, because I was in college at the time, they were black and Latino, and they were friends. And that has been my experience. And I want to be clear, I want more black people in the industry and in the player space. I want more of all types of people in the industry, in the player space. And more importantly, I want actual serious issues in the industry, like crunch, like workplace harassment, like actual sexual harassment against females, particularly in certain American companies, right? Like Blizzard and BioWare and other places, to be addressed so that the industry is a safe place for all who want to be there. And I have no problem with leads or protagonists or playable characters who are black or brown skinned or male or female or anything else. That is not of a concern to me. But what I am tired of is this divisive rhetoric, and then trying to argue that segregation is okay for this group because of historical issues that have been resolved that are completely unrelated to video games. Video games didn't come to America till at least the 70s, and didn't really take off until Nintendo in the mid and late 80s, right? At least when it comes to the States, you're talking about having people bringing up the fact that black people used to have to use separate water fountains. You mean in the 40s and 50s and 60s? Long before video games ever existed, let alone were commercially available to anybody who had the money to buy them? You mean that? It's like apples and oranges, and several people online are using this, in my opinion, faulty logic to justify segregation. And if you call that out, if you point out just how foolish that sounds, then you get attacked. Right, but I will say this much. I don't like divisive rhetoric. I did not grow up thinking that divisiveness was a good thing. It was actually stuff like Street Fighter that showed me that unity is something worth striving for. Unity perhaps in fisticuffs, but still unity. And it is through something like Street Fighter that I can meet people and play against people across the world or across the internet. I want a truly diverse international gaming space, player space, creative space, industry. But we're not going to get there if we keep drawing these dividing lines. The whites here, the Latinos there, the Asians here, the men there, the women there. That will not help. And we know it won't help because we've tried it in the past, and it didn't help. Now look, if Black Girl Gamers wants to isolate and segregate and hide and block me, an actual black female gamer, from their space on Twitter without even talking to me, go ahead. It isn't the first time I've been excluded from a female group for being the odd one out, for being the one willing to speak up. But please, and I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I'm not saying you have to like the things I like, because even with all this is just a small sampling of what I grew up with. Doesn't count all the magazines I had or all my brother's stuff, his games, his magazines, and all that. So I'm not asking anybody to see things my way. But what I am asking is that if we can stop trying to draw these harmful, dividing lines, all for the sake of what? Some attention? Or protecting companies like Sweet Baby Inc., who make their money off of being pointlessly divisive? I don't see that as a solution. If there is a problem, and I'm of the opinion that all of this is trying to start a problem. I'm of the opinion that a lot of this is trying to stir up actual racism and sexism. But I don't think at present we have a major problem. But if this keeps on, we will have a major problem. All I can say is that I warned you. And I'm not going to stop speaking out. And I'm not going to stop gaming. So Black Girl Gamers and their supporters and everybody who thinks that calling me a coon is an acceptable response because I dare to commit the crime of free thinking, free thought, critical thinking, not allowing a narrative to direct my steps or my thoughts as a person. If that makes me a coon, then fine, I'll be a raccoon. I'm so damn tired. I have black spots under my eyes anyway. Okay? You want to make me the bad guy or the bad girl because I'm not willing to accept divisiveness in something that was never divisive or mean to me? Fine, go ahead. It ain't the first time. But Black Girl Gamers and all their supporters, from one Black Girl Gamer to another, I was here first, I'll be here last, and you're not gonna push me out. I'm a New Yorker through and through. If there's two things you learn how to do well, it's talk fast, talk tough, and fight better. So, game on, and I'll see you in a casual match in Street Fighter V. Anyway, I hope everyone's having fun, relaxing. SmackDown's going to come on in about an hour or so, and I'll be watching that. But yeah, I'm going to get to gaming. I'm going to stay gaming so long as I have the means to do it. But yeah, those groups, those divisive groups are not going to push me out, and they're not going to bring me down. If they want to be buttheads about stuff, they can. But don't bring, quite frankly, do not bring your divisive stupidity into my happy place. But anyway, that's the video. Black man! It's actually, his real name is Jonathan Blade, for those wondering. Yes, I actually do remember the names of the characters. But anyway, that's the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day and night wherever you are. Bye.